We are back, baby. Views tube. Hope you're good. As requested, the battle for Tulse Hill, LTH versus UTH. Again, recurring themes. The names are not pretty original, are they? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was requested. I did ask if someone wants to see it on one of the videos, and someone said, yeah, do it. So here we are, just putting one together, as you know. You know what I mean? But yeah, let's see what this is saying. Battle for Tulse Hill, LTH versus UTH.
You get me? But hey, bam! You know I don't do this waffling thing.
Now, the London Borough of Lambeth is located within South London. The borough is home to around 328,000 residents. Lambeth has also been ranked within the top 10 most dangerous boroughs within London. The overall crime rate in 2023 was 132 crimes per 1,000.
And that's different to what you said last time when we was doing Lambeth, innit? About what was the last one I did? You know, I just had a bit of a brain fart, but I've been up for hours, been working since morning. You know what I'm saying? So forgive me for that. But yeah, what did I do? The rise and fall of Harlem Spartans, was it that one? I'm not sure. One of them. Shameless plug. You know what I'm saying? But I'm pretty sure they said Lambeth was viewed as one of the safer areas in South London, but not anymore.
People. This was 26% higher than London's crime rate, being 105 crimes per 1,000.
And I don't understand why they keep doing that. Like, Lambeth is in London, the London borough of Lambeth. So when he says that, this is the second time I've heard it in one of these videos. I think it was one of the Hackney ones he was doing it. What are you referring to when you say higher than the London rate? This is the London rate. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, what?
People. Now, due to the high crime rate within Lambeth, this then results in gangs being very present, with Lambeth having many different gangs that have deadly rivalries within the borough. Within Lambeth lies a district named Tulse Hill. In recent years, Tulse Hill would see a deadly gang war, with the area being split into two sections that violently beef each other, these being Upper Tulse Hill and Lower Tulse Hill. The gang war between these two areas
makes sense now. I was saying LTH and UTH, like, what is this? Upper Tulse, Lower Tulse. And to be honest, I feel like I've heard music from some of these people, so I should know better. But I'm an old man now. Do you know what I mean? Dementia and that
has gotten so bad that people living within each area would basically be forced into beefing each other. Now, LTH, or Lower Tulse Hill, is a large street gang based around the Tulse Hill estate within the SW2 postcode, whilst Upper Tulse Hill is based around the St. Martin's estate. They are also based within the SW2 postcode. During the 1990s, Tulse Hill gang members would mostly be affiliated with Brixton gangs like PDC. However, in the early 2000s, Tulse Hill gang members would begin to go by Tulse Hill Mandem. They would also go by T-Block. Around 2008, a younger generation based on the Tulse Hill estate would emerge. They would go by TN1, or Trust No One, and Tell No One. This generation was known to be deadly. During this time,
again, we're talking about originality. That just makes me think of SN1, which was Gigs and the Peckham lot. Is that Spare No One? These are Tell No One. Again, mad.
TN1 had a deadly beef with nearby Gas Gang and were affiliated with BHB and PYG. In recent years, both gangs have split into two sub-gangs that now have heavy beef with each other. But you may be curious as to why they have beef. Now, originally both gangs would be affiliated under the Tulse Hill Mandem, with the Tulse Hill Mandem being spread throughout the Tulse Hill estate and the St. Martin's estate. During the early 2010s, a 15-year-old member of TN1 named Lil Zack would actually...
Before we even get into this, a member called Lil Zack. Of course he's little. Look at the state of him. Like Benjamin Button in reverse. Do you know what I'm saying? Bless him. He looks so young. But I was just about to say lower and upper, and it all used to be together. So this happens in so many areas. You know, where I grew up in Kilburn, it was just Kilburn. Do you know what I'm saying? And you had South Kilburn, and people used to link up on boom, boom, boom. But now you got, you know, SSK, Topside, around about, like, people from the middle of Kilburn don't even know what you call them, behind the McDonald's. Like, what? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, everyone used to be together. It's so crazy. But anyway, bit of a tangent, but yeah.
Actually be killed by gas gang members. This would take place in July 2010, when 4 gas gang members would ride out looking for rivals. They would spot Lil Zack at school. Zack would begin to run within the school after noticing the group. However, he would only make it around 130 meters before he would be stabbed 4 times by the rivals. 2 of these wounds would puncture his heart, and sadly,
Schoolboy, you're gonna ching him in his uniform. You know, like not even like, yeah, we knew he's gang because we caught him here, we caught him there. You've gone to the school to look for a young boy that ain't even lived life, to run him down and stab him 4 times. I mean, Jesus Christ, man. And like I always say on these videos, like I don't want to say rest in peace to anyone because they could have been on madness themselves. Like, you know, we used the example of culprit getting chinged, but a week before that you were shooting at people, like these same people. So you live by it, you die by it. But like this little kid, like in his school uniform or something, he might not even had a uniform, but I don't know. I feel like he would have had a uniform. That picture looked like he had a uniform. Waffles, but sorry guys.
he would be pronounced dead moments later. Following the death of Lil Zack, members within the TN1 gang would be divided. However, it wouldn't be until around 2013 that further tension would occur, resulting in 2 subsets being created, these being LTH or Lower Tulse Hill, who were predominantly youngers, and UTH or Upper Tulse Hill, who were mostly olders. However, they do have some youngers. LTH nowadays is allied with 6'7", 5'5", and 417, whilst UTH is allied with 150.
Who the hell is 5'5"? And who's the other one? 6'7", I know. LD and that, but who? What? Sorry.
Days is allied with 6'7", 5'5", and 417.
417. I can just think 410, 417, no idea.
Whilst UTH is allied with 150 and 410, previously a part of Gas Gang, they are also allied with Claptown or CT. However, it would be around 2013 that LTH would actually go by 861 or 86. This stood for TN1 when typed onto a trap phone, and during the time when drill was heavily being popularized by 6'7", these guys would actually also be making their own waves within the scene. Songs like Formation and Hands On would both gain a lot of attention within the scene. Both of these songs sit at around 3 million views. However, just as fast as they rose within the drill scene, they would fall, as they would seemingly stop dropping songs and wouldn't be heard from again. With the 8-6 name dying out, and a new set of youngers starting to rep Tulse Hill, these youngers going by LTH, or Lower Tulse Hill, which has become very prominent within the scene nowadays, with rappers from this gang going on to gain millions of views. Prominent members of LTH include C1, G41, and DT, whilst prominent members of UTH
C1 rings bells. The other guys, no.
include Mayhem, Smokey Jack, and Shuds. During 2011, following the death of Lil Zack, 2 other members associated with the TN1 gang would be killed. This included a member named Ziggy, who would be linked to 6'7", TN1, and 8'6". However, he would sadly be shot dead in 2011. The other member would be a member named Nana, who was a TN1 or 8'6" member that would be shot in a drive-by shooting around 2011. Rest in peace, Ziggy and Nana. However, for simplicity's sake, I'll only really be talking about the younger generations of these gangs, being LTH and UTH. Now, the beef between Lower Tulse and Upper Tulse has been dangerous from the start. Around February 2016, an alleged member of UTH would jump off a bike and shoot towards rivals, who were thought to have been Lower Tulse Hill members. This entire situation would be caught on nearby CCTV, with it showing the
Didn't even know who was who. Just running in doing the madness. Sorry, guys.
the attacker jumping off a bike and running towards the members shooting at them. Luckily, it seemed no one was injured. However, this was one of the first instances of the gangs having a rivalry, with the new younger generation beginning to get active within the streets. This generation of LTH was affiliated with nearby 6'7", 417, and 5'5", or GID, with 5'5", or GID becoming very involved in the beef between LTH and UTH. It would be around the beginning of 2017 that a young LTH member would actually begin to rap, this being C1, who would drop a song in August 2017 titled "Look What Tulse Done." This song,
Yo, he was hard as well. Do you know what I'm saying? Obviously, you got the other C1 from 7th or whatever, Sinner. Both of them are good. Do you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I have heard of this is why this is now ringing bells. When they said C1 before, I'm like, right, C1, LTH. That's why I remembered it before. Fair play, man. Fair play. Look, over 500,000 views. Big him up.
song would gain a lot of attention with it currently sitting on around 560,000 views. However, C1 wouldn't stop there, and later in December 2017 he would drop a song titled Life I Live, which would also gain a lot of attention, currently sitting on 734,000 views. During 2017, a 17-year-old low-key member of 5-5 or GID named YK would actually be spotted in music videos. He would be seen in a Mitchum music video titled Slide and Lurk. He would be close with gangs like 6-7, Mitchum, 417, and LTH due to his involvement with the 5-5 or GID gang, which was affiliated with the gangs. However, YK would sadly become a victim to the street life, with one of the bloodiest days occurring within the beef. It would be on the last day of 2017 that 2 members involved in the beef would be killed, with these members even being dissed today by UTH members. On the 31st of December 2017, a member affiliated with the gang 5-5 or GID, based around multiple estates within the Streatham area. This member was named YK, and due to his
So you know the AI, you know the whoever's dictating the voice or whatnot, the Streatham, Streatham, like it's mad, isn't it? Just like they said the jug, and man was saying jug. It's funny stuff. Sorry.
gang ties, he would have a rivalry with UTH, 410 and 150. However, he would be closely affiliated with gangs like 6-7, LTH, and Mitchum. Anyways, YK would be traveling on the top floor of a bus with his friends within Tulse Hill. He would spot UTH members and would seemingly act aggressive towards them. As the 3 UTH members boarded the bus, they would make their way to the upper floor of the bus and would spot YK. The 3 UTH members would exit the bus in a pursuit to get away from YK and his friends. However, YK would soon follow out of the bus. 2 of the UTH members would run into a convenience store. However, YK would flash a knife he had on him at the time to the UTH member. The UTH member would then retrieve a knife he had and would stab YK once in.
Why would you flash a knife? Look what I got. You're either going to use it or you're not, innit? None of this is good, by the way. I'm just saying that just lit on what? And then the other guy's gone and got a knife and come and stabbed you. He weren't flashing it. Like he's using it like crazy, innit? Because that might not happen if that never took place. It might happen, but I'm just saying.
The chest. This wound would pierce YK's heart. Following this, the members would flee, leaving YK to die. Shortly after the attack, police and paramedics would arrive on the scene. However, he would sadly be pronounced dead moments later. With a murder investigation being launched, this would see a few arrests taking place. However, in 2021, a teen would be arrested and charged on the same day, this being Shaq's from UTH. However, I couldn't find if he was found
arrested the same day. I told you, man. They have the heart, but none of the brains.
guilty. What I do know is that he claimed self-defense and would actually find himself wrapped up in another case months earlier, after police would find him in possession of over 20 knives. Rest in peace, YK. Following the death of YK, a tribute song would be uploaded in 2019, this being from a rapper named YL. The song was titled Rest in Peace YK and was a direct tribute song. This song is quite unknown, with it only having 3,000 views. However, it shows that YK was a loved member and would be remembered by many different members. However, the violence wouldn't stop there, and on the same day that YK died, another member affiliated with LTH would actually be killed. Around 2017, a member of LTH named Shaq would get close with a member of AP named Ghost, which was based within Enfield, North London. Anyways, Shaq would be given Ghost's drug line. However, Shaq would begin to see that the drug line made loads of money. So when Ghost asked for the line back, Shaq would refuse to give back the drug line due to how much money it made him. Ghost would plan to attack Shaq, and on the 31st of December 2017, Shaq would be lured to a bando within Enfield. However, what Shaq didn't know was that Ghost and other members would be waiting to attack him and retrieve their drug line. When Shaq would get to the bando, he would begin to trap inside the house. However, moments later, 3 members including Ghost would storm the house and would ask Shaq for the drug line phone back. Shaq would refuse, and a fight would ensue within the house. Following this, Shaq would be punched many times. He would also be stabbed in the chest. The attackers would steal the phone back as well as cash on the scene and bags of drugs. Police and emergency services would arrive on the scene.
How did you think that was gonna go? Like, I don't know, man. Did he have heart? Did Shaq have heart? Him, one, maybe against numerous guys, probably there with weapons. Just give him the fucking line, bro, and then work out your get back or whatever. I don't know, bro. Did he have heart there? Is that smart ultimately? Do you know what I'm saying? If they let you, yeah, or give me the line, just give it over, bro. Save yourself getting stabbed. Do you get it? And then come and get it back if you really want it that much. Do you know what I'm saying?
moments later, following a disturbance in the flat, with Shaq being airlifted and flown to an East London hospital. However, he would be pronounced dead moments later. Following this, a murder investigation would be launched. This saw no arrests made within the first few days, until the 8th of January 2018, when Ghost would actually hand himself into police at Wood Green Police Station. A trial would take place with Ghost being charged for the murder. He would be...
What the fuck did he hand himself in for? Do you know what? He might not have had the paper to go on the run, bro, because I don't think that's easy. Do you get it? That's still mad, though. Handed yourself in. Sorry, I might have missed. What did he get? Handed himself in Wood Green Police Station at 6 p.m. on Monday, January 8th. He was charged on Tuesday, January 9th, and appeared in custody on the 10th. Bloody hell, they move quick.
Into police at Wood Green Police Station. A trial would take place with Ghost being charged for the murder. He would be sentenced to life for the murder and would be handed 21 years in jail. Rest in peace, Shaq. Following the death of Shaq, members in LTH would begin to get active in the music scene, with C1 dropping some real UK drill bangers. This included a song titled Slums, which was released in March.
And it's mad, isn't it? Because that's kind of like, for these man in Tulse Hill, that's almost like going to Enfield's almost like going OT. Like, I don't even know if Enfield is actually classed as London or not. It's kind of like going OT, innit? You know what I'm saying? I was just thinking, what's he doing over in Enfield? But that's probably why.
March 2018, and currently sits on 1 million views. Another song was released following this, in April 2018, titled Do It Again. This would blow up, and currently sits on 1.8 million views. However, these numbers wouldn't compare to his next release being a song titled Hide and Seek, which would instantly blow up, and currently sits on 14 million views. This song would also become popular on TikTok in recent years. This put LTH on the map.
Crazy numbers as well, man. Crazy numbers. But sometimes it's all about timing, innit? Whether the channel's having an uplift, whatever platform you put it on, but great numbers.
Around this time, and during this time, a younger member of LTH would start to appear within music videos and would even rap alongside C1. This being a 16-year-old named J-Sav, who would even feature on a Next Up freestyle alongside C1. However, by the time this song would release, sadly J-Sav would have become victim to the streets, with J-Sav still being remembered today. On the 5th of November 2018, J-Sav would be standing around Greenleaf Close within Tulse Hill. At around 11 p.m., he would be waiting for his parents to pick him up when two cars that contained opposition members from the 150 gang, which has become very well known in the drill scene in recent years. Anyways, two cars would approach J-Sav. The rival members would decamp the car and would attack J-Sav. The members would draw knives and would stab J-Sav multiple times. They would flee the scene following the attack, with J-Sav's stomach even being left open. The saddest part about this incident was
the amount of savs as well you hear. This sav, that sav. Jesus, they're all savages. You live like it, you die like it, and it's crazy, man. Still sad to hear though. 16. Like, what life has he lived? Lots of these boys.
that J-Sav's mum would witness the incident. She would phone police. However, sadly, J-Sav would die in her arms moments later. Following the attack, a murder investigation would be launched. This investigation originally saw 4 people arrested. However, until this day, no one would be charged or found guilty for the death of J-Sav. Rest in peace.
Look at him, savage. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not even trying to take the piss. I'm just saying, bro. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, you can't judge a book by a cover, but look at the pictures. What life has this youth lived? Madness, man. This is how it goes, man. This is how it goes.
J-Sav. J-Sav was a very prominent member of LTH, with him even having a few unreleased tracks. However, due to him being closely affiliated with the LTH gang, he would become target to rivals and would sadly lose his life before he could see the potential in his music. 150 and UTH would disrespect J-Sav a lot following this incident, with popular rapper M24 often referencing the incident. Following the death of J-Sav, images would circulate the internet showing J-Sav chilling with other LTH members like C1 and Caps. This just shows how prominent he was at his young age. Rest in peace. It would be around 2017 and 18 that an alliance would become more prominent within South London, this being the Hillside Alliance, which was an alliance of gangs that would ride out together, often catching ops from another alliance, being the Gas Alliance. The Hillside Alliance would consist of the gangs Cuckoo, 67, 417, Team Raw, LTH, 55, or GID, and would be named Hillside, due to LTH being based in Lower Tulse Hill, and 67 being based within Brixton Hill, whilst the Gas Alliance consists of the gangs 410, 150, CMG, Claptown, CT, Wano, TOG, UTH, 37, and RSG. This is often why we see LTH and 6-7 members riding out together onto opposition territories like UTH and 150. It would be around 2019 and 2020 that more youngers would start getting active on each side. LTH members would allegedly be applying pressure to UTH around 2019 and 20, with a UTH member even being stabbed by an LTH member and having to be airlifted. However, luckily, this member would survive. 6-7 members would also be chilling with LTH loads, and around this time, a member of UTH named Reckless would be spotted by 6-7 and
Ugh. Now, if you know anything about 6-7 and search and destroy, PR sad, it's a reckless world, bro. I swear these man use his name so much. So much. It's dark, sorry.
LTH loads, and around this time a member of UTH named Reckless would be spotted by 6-7 and LTH members. The members would stab Reckless in his lung, leaving him to bleed out. He would actually die on the scene. However, luckily, paramedics would be able to bring him back to life. However, sadly, only months later, in March 2019, Reckless would sadly become victim to the street.
Do you know what? Now they've said that, it's just ringing all types of. This PR guy is a fucking menace, bro. I swear they were talking. Or was it LD actually? Obviously, bare things are getting bring. They're talking about we got man down. They brought him back and we got him again. I said, oh my lord, I can't with this type of life, guys.
Streets, with him even being heavily disrespected even until this day.
Look, it's a reckless world. Oh my days, bro. Corn in his chest now. It's reckless world. Oh my god. I swear that's PR sad, isn't it? You have to start looking at yourself in the mirror as well, because it's not like I mean, why do I know it? Because I was listening to it. Do you know what I'm saying?
On the 27th of March 2019, a member of UTH named Reckless would be lured to a block of flats by a Squeeze section member named K-Squeeze. He would lead Reckless to the flats, as Reckless owed him 10,000 pounds following a drug debt. Once Reckless would reach the flat, he would be lured to a balcony, where he would be shot multiple times in the chest and head. Following this, the attackers would flee, and police and emergency services would arrive on the scene. However, Reckless would sadly be pronounced dead moments later, with another murder investigation being launched. This investigation saw the arrest of K-Squeeze. However, police would still be looking for another suspect, this being the shooter of Reckless. However, police would never...
Well, didn't they both shoot him? So they didn't catch the actual shooter. So then what did K-Squeeze do? Just lure him there. He weren't on mashing the work. I'm so mad for this guy, innit? Died at the scene, revived, then you got murdered at another scene and you didn't come back that time. Like that, it's just crazy work, bro.
Find the shooter and would charge K-Squeeze for the murder. As he lured him to the flats to die, K-Squeeze would receive a life sentence with a minimum of 34 years.
Man got 34 for being the plug, you know. That is bonkers, bro. But that's what happens, bro. That's what happens. I've heard wilder stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the Billy the Kid incident. Billy the Kid and two men went to bridge, fired at people, obviously didn't strike home. The man then fired back. Billy the Kid got shot, died on the scene. I think his brethrens got back in the whip and cut out, and they got arrested. It's just like obviously, but like I'm thinking, what charges have you was involved in bringing? I can't even remember how they explained it, but it's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. I'm waffling though, so let's continue.
Even though he didn't shoot Reckless. Whilst it's not 100% known who killed Reckless, what is alleged is that it was a 5-5 or GID member. However, a lot of people speculate 6-7 had something to do with it, due to how much they mention him, with it being rare to not hear Reckless's name in a 6-7 song.
That's what I'm trying to say, bro. It was like ridiculous, bro. Like ridiculous, bro. Same day I done a look, ghost hang by the Rex, real kitchen king. Same day I done Rex, I just flicked my wrist. So like, just come on here and just say it all, like man. But this was like crazy, like the reckless. How many times he got mentioned? Sorry.
how much they mention him, with it being rare to not hear Reckless's name in a 6-7 song, with disses towards Reckless being very popular. An example of this would be when PR Sad would rap saying, "It's a reckless world. Corn in his chest, now it's Reckless's world." However, until someone has been charged with the shooting of Reckless, we will never know. Rest in...
And you don't hear that often. Every now and again, you know, nothing is every single time, but most of the time, minority never makes the rule. Most of the time, these men are either dead or behind the door forever. Like.
Peace, Reckless. Now, since the death of Reckless, the beef between UTH and LTH has continued, with multiple acts of violence playing out between the gangs, with shootings and stabbings becoming very common, with it even being alleged 2 members of the UTH gang would be airlifted by an air ambulance following a stabbing around this time. However, a lot of these stabbings and shootings wouldn't be reported within the news, but instead in the music made by both gangs. It would be around 2020 that a younger set of 6-7 would begin rapping. This included rappers PR Sad, who would drop One Wish, and has even been a part of the war since around 2015, and Dope Smoke, who would drop a UK drill banger titled Threat to Life. Both of these rappers would be cold from the start, and have now grown a strong fan base. Now, around 2021, C1 from LTH would still be continuing with his rapping career, with him even bringing on other members of LTH. This included a member called Slims. However, LTH wouldn't be the only ones starting to make music. A member of UTH named Shuds would actually drop a cold song titled Doughboy, where he would diss LTH, GID, and
Never heard of Shuds.
other rival gangs. Shuds is actually a seriously cold rapper. During 2021, 410 members and UTH members would actually link up and drop a hard song titled Rizla. This was an insanely rude song, with every opposition member being dissed. Now, during 2021, a member of UTH would sadly die. However, this was not due to the streets. Now, on the 31st of October 2021, a member of UTH named Timmy, or T1, would sadly die from a heart attack, with it being alleged
Timmy! I shouldn't even take them. That's just what came to my head. I know I'm horrible. What? From a heart attack? Sorry.
a member of UTH named Timmy, or T1, would sadly die from a heart attack, with it being alleged he died due to Smart Whip, with members of UTH instantly starting to pay their respect.
Smart Whip. Is that the balloons? Yeah? No oxygen to the brain and all them thing there. Mad.
To him following his death. A member of UTH named Shuds would actually get Timmy's name on a hoodie he wore, with people in the comments paying respects to Timmy by dropping comments like Timmy's World Forever and Timmy's Hill. Another member of UTH named Smokey Jack would also drop a preview to a song titled Dumb and Dangerous, with the caption of the post quoting, "Long live Timmy."
I think that's the most fitting title yet for a lot of these guys. Dumb and Danger. I think that's yeah. That's the most fitting title yet. Dumb and Dangerous, and I don't even know, why I'm clapping with my hands like I can't just. Anyway.
Hill had the on blast. However, LTH members and 6-7 members would basically see this as another win and would be dissing Timmy so much, with these rappers starting to incorporate Timmy within their bars. Recently, a member of 6-7 named Dope Smoke would drop an entire song dedicated to dissing Timmy, this being titled Smoking Kills, with him rapping, "Thank God, I put down the Smart Whip." Prime example is T1's death. Another member of LTH named G41 would also go live recently with 6-7 members like Dope Smoke, with them doing balloons and shouting Timmy. They would also pin a comment that said T-Whip, insulting Timmy as he allegedly died from Smart Whip. However, G41 would take it a step further and would drop a song titled EBK, and in the music video to the song, he would rap in front of a Smart Whip canister, acting as if it was a mic. This just shows the hatred both gangs have for each other. However, my condolences go to Timmy's friends and family. Rest in peace, Timmy. Since the death of Timmy, the gang war in South London has exploded, with members of LTH and 6-7 being heavily allied. At the beginning of 2022, C1 would drop a UK drill anthem titled Tulse Hill Tour. This song and music video had serious 2017 drill vibes, with fans starting to point out the potential in C1. During 2022, C1 would actually be quite consistent within the drill scene, with him dropping songs like Simon Says with Ch from one side, and Hillside Demons with LD from 6-7. Both of these songs were serious
bangers. LD, Chinks, hard. Yeah, I like both of those.
hard and currently sit on around 400,000 views. However, C1 wouldn't be the only rapper seriously popping at this time. Around the end of 2021, Dope Smoke from 6-7 would drop a part 2 to his previously disrespectful tune titled No Filter. The chorus of this song would once again feature the rude bar from the previous song being, "I get bored of these Upper Tulse Hill Utes. The Upper Tulse Utes don't score no points." He would then follow this bar up with a list of dead ops followed by got put in a joint. Around October 2022, a song would be uploaded to Press Play Media. This song would be titled A-Team and would feature 3 new members from the LTH group. The members on this song would include Slims, Bonzum, DT, and G41. This song is seriously underrated, with comments starting to point out how hard the other members were. However, both of the members wouldn't be that active until around 2023, when DT would drop a cold song with a 6'7" member named Brooka. This song would be titled Never Made It Far and would be seriously cold. However, following this song being released, DT would actually be arrested. Whilst DT was in jail, G41 would drop a track titled EBK, which was seriously rude and dissed loads of rivals. This song would gain G41 a lot of attention. At the start of August 2023, a member from Stockwell named C Figures would link up with G41 and Dope Smoke. These rappers would drop a seriously hard song titled Feel Like, which is one of G41's most viewed songs. And to say
I ain't even heard of G41, I'm not even gonna lie.
this song was cold would be an understatement. However, it would only be days later on the 18th of August that DT would be fresh home from jail. Following his release, he would drop a seriously hard song titled Family Guy, which had some very disrespectful bars. This would gain a lot of attention, with it currently sitting on 145,000 views. It would also be around December 2023 that C1 would diss another member of LTH on Snapchat, this member being MA, who was also a LTH member. He would also post talking about another member of LTH named MJ, who would allegedly snitch. Following this, tension within the LTH gang would begin to arise, and recently we would see it escalate. Recently, the in-house tension between LTH would actually escalate when G41 would call out C1 on his story, with him writing, "Need to take LTH out their name cause is not gang. Man are releasing songs and they're not comfy in the hood. Don't make sense." C1 would respond to G41 on his Snap story, stating, "Please be safe with no motion hating at an all-time high right now. And the calmer you are, the clearer you think. Move with strategy, not emotion." Following this back and forth, DT and G41 would unfollow C1 on Instagram. So I imagine there is tension between LTH members, and I hope this doesn't escalate to a full-on beef, as all of the rappers involved are seriously hard. However, a lot of these rappers lack consistency to blow. If you have learned anything from this video, make sure that it's to stay out of the streets, as this life really only leads to either jail or death.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Let me stop sharing that. Interesting, man. Interesting. But there you have it. It was requested, and there you have it. Let's hope these man can obviously focus on the music. But as man said, these men are not consistent, but they're consistently in the streets. If you're going to learn anything, it's to just not bother. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, man. Let me know what you thought below. If you want to request something for me to do next, put it in the comments. I'll get to it. Until next time, people, peace.